access. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Welcome to my daily wake and stretch morning practice. Well, it's morning for me. It's about 7 a.m. India Standard Time. I hope you are all doing well this morning. If you are just joining me for the first time, so you know what this is a very informal invitation to show up every morning to do some sort of, I guess you could say, yoga practice. Excuse me. It's a practice of showing up for myself, showing up for you, showing up for each other. So if you joined me yesterday, I did a little bit of, all I did was hamstring and glute and back body strengthening. And I'm going to be 100% honest here. Sore. Very sore. Hamstrings sore, triceps sore, glutes were twitching last night while I was sitting and watching a little TV before going to bed. So either I'm really out of shape or I just need to get back into the flow of working the muscles in that way. Anyhow, because I'm sore, of course, my natural tendency is to not want to do anything with that area of the body that's sore. But being someone who has been basically doing movement since I was 3, I know I need to do something to help it, because what you don't want to do is usually what you need to do on every level. So right now, I don't really want to stretch out that part of the body, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump up on the mat now, and you are welcome to join me. Just know that I'm not going to instruct to my fullest abilities. And if my husband lets the dog in, Zeus may or may not crash this party at the end, or then make it the end like he did yesterday. So at any rate, I'm going to jump up on my mat. I have my meditation pillow there. I'm actually just going to sit and breathe for a little bit to start with. And then from there, I'll move into some easy stretching for the morning. So I have a lot of computer work to do, so I'm going to get myself ready for a day full of that. Okay. I'm just sitting up nice and tall. I like to sit on a pillow because then I don't feel like I'm fighting so hard with gravity to stay upright. I'm just going to sit here and connect with my breath, which is a form of meditation with the eyes closed. As I settle into my breath, I am paying attention to any sounds that come up. Doing my best not to judge them, but just let them pass in their own time. Sometimes when sitting in this position, I can feel my torso kind of leaning forward. And when I feel that, it activates different parts of the body, so I want that to relax. I'm just going to settle back. Rib cage stacked over the hips. Sometimes when I sit here and breathe and meditate, I find myself taking a purposeful breath instead of being the observer of the breath. And sometimes what that means is that sometimes I feel like I'm taking the breath on purpose. Like I need to be breathing in a particular way. But honestly, you really don't. It's a practice to remind yourself that you can just simply breathe. It doesn't have to be deep or controlled. It doesn't have to be purely in the lungs or the belly. It could be somewhere between or any combination. Very gently, and open my eyes. I'm going to now start to get into my achy body from being so sore from yesterday's morning practice. I'm just gently moving through the shoulders and allowing my spine to respond. And if you are joining me in the movement, feel free to move any way that feels good for you. Lengthening through the spine and the shoulders and the ribs and the waist. Always a nice way to start the morning to get yourself elongated. And my triceps are quite sore, so I'm just going to give myself a nice gentle stretch here. Breathing in. Being sore is a nice reminder of being alive. I've always said that even to all my dance students. It means that you worked your body. It means that you were really active, your heart rate was probably up a little bit, and you were living. All right, I'm going to attempt to get myself on my feet, one leg at a time. I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. I'm going to make my way into Uttanasana. Oh, good morning, hamstrings. Holy moly. Oh. Sorry for the grunting and groaning. I am one of those people that makes a little bit of sound effects as they move. Gently pedaling through the legs. Head can be dropped or not if you're someone who doesn't really like inversions, or you get dizzy or lightheaded if your head drops, and just keep it up and keep your gaze forward without crunching the back of your neck. All right, it's getting a little better. Getting that tissue opened up. So I'm going to bend my knees deeply so that my ribs rest. I'm going to take a rag doll, but with my arms up and over in the back. A little bit of movement here, a little swaying. It's always nice in the morning. It's kind of like rocking yourself to get the blood flowing. Gently releasing the arms. I'm going to lift halfway up. And then exhale, fold again. And I come all the way up to vertical, pressing up. And then exhaling, bringing the hands to the heart. About a few breaths with the arms. I'm going to take another half sun salutation. So inhaling, sweeping up. Exhaling, diving forward. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, folding. Inhaling, reverse swan dive. Now this is helping my hamstrings a lot, and if you can see, I'm bending my knees and I'm doing that to protect my lower back. I think I'm going to move through one more of those half sun salutations. From here, I'm going to step back and take a nice shallow Parsvottanasana. So my back leg is outwardly rotated, front leg is parallel, lifting up out of the hips. And as I exhale, I'm going to move forward. And I'm not going to my deepest depth, just trying to ease into the back of the leg. And I'm keeping an active spine here. This helps to target the hamstring more than the lower back. Once the back starts to curl, you start to stretch out the lower area of the spine, the back. All right, so from here, I'm going to slide my left leg back, find a low lunge. Boy, there's some mornings where you just feel a little bit achier than others. Whew. It's good though. It's good to notice these things. It's good to move through them. It's good to experience them. Alright, so you'll have to pardon my back on this next one. I'm going to turn into a side lunge. So I'm going to keep my weight on this right leg, tucking the back toe, and flipping into a side lunge. And for me, for my body, I need to take a little bit more of a forward fold to feel the inner thigh, but go where you need to for yourself if you're practicing with me. I'm going to come back to neutral. I'm going to take my first downward facing dog. Here, I'm going to make my way back up to the top of the mat and make my way up to standing. So taking that Ardha Uttanasana, the half lift, and then exhaling and folding, and inhaling, reverse swan dive. And take a few breaths here with the arms while I'm in Tadasana. One more because it feels real nice. So we're going to take that same sequence on the other side. The right leg is going to step back about a stride. Taking a nice inhale to lengthen through the waist, and then exhaling, bending at the hips. And this is the sole purpose of targeting the hamstring and the back of the leg. Taking my time to ease into the stretch. from here, coming into low lunge. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take a little mini twist here. This isn't anything technical. This is just kind of how I feel the most stretch in my hip. And yes, I said my hamstrings in the back of my body are tight, but what happens on one side, there is a cause and effect. So the front side of the body does need some attention as well. And then gently pressing back. Finding downward facing dog again. And from here, I'm going to take a twisted three-legged dog. This definitely gets the standing leg, but also gives attention to the waistline, the belly, front of the floating head. And gently bring that back down, finding down dog, and switch to the other side. And gently coming back. I'm going to come forward into a plank, lower my knees down, and then just gently rest. Oh, that wasn't very gentle, but coming down onto the belly. Maybe a little rock of the hips. Now from here, I'm going to gently warm up my back, taking a few cobra poses. Now, one thing I like to do in my cobra series is imagine the crown of my head is a sprayer of water, and I want to spray forward and up and back so that you can lengthen through the spine, right? So the movement comes out first, then it starts to arc upwards. This gives you more length in the back, so you're not crunching up the vertebrae. And length is always the name of the game. This is also good to do, since I did mention I'm going to do a lot of computer work today. Opening up the chest and the front of the body. So from here, I'm actually going to move forward a little bit more so that I can come into upward facing dog. And this is probably not going to be graceful, and I'm just going to be flat out honest about that. I'm going to press down through the feet. Make sure that my hands are in line with my armpits. And I press up and I walk myself forward a little bit. And I'm going to lift the belly and press back to downward facing dog. Now, one thing in downward facing dog that yoga instructors never tell you to do, they actually tell you to do the opposite of, is the pelvic tilt. So typically in a down dog, you would want to have a nice long spine, belly pulling up and in, closing the front ribs. All these beautiful cues are absolutely correct. But for myself this morning, I'm craving a little bit more of that hamstring stretch. So I'm going to bend the knees and I'm going to stick my booty out. Doing a little bit of pelvic tilting in both directions, you may discover a little bit more opening. That's not a place to stay and live, but to move through. So from here, I'm going to lower my knees and take a little child's pose. because my triceps are sore. I'm gonna walk my elbows a little bit more forward, press the palms of the hands together, and slide my head between the palms. And from here, I'm going to come into a seated position. Letting my legs extend out front. Oh, I don't want you to see my big old feet. So sitting up nice and tall. Oh, and giving a nice Paschimottanasana, Western facing forward fold. Again, keeping the spine nice and actively long. I'm gently pulling my toes back to get a little bit more behind the ankle. And if you hear a lot of activity in the background, curfew was lifted today and for a couple hours. So you may hear some more traffic going by. You may hear voices that are not my own. It's all good. It's just people are out and about for a few hours today. So I'm going to come up from here and do a little reverse tabletop. So stepping the feet in, hands behind, and lifting up. Opening up through the front body. Feel a nice stretch through the biceps, which is a very difficult muscle to stretch. This pose always does it for me. And gently coming back down, coming into a bound angle pose. So I'm going to hold on to the arches of my feet so that I don't pull the toes up and stretch out the bottoms of the ankles unnaturally. And honestly, my thumbs are there. A little massage is really nice on the bottoms of the feet. If I didn't do the tennis ball today, now I'm going into a massage. So our feet do so much for us. It's nice to give them a little bit of love, especially in the morning. Get that fascia opened up, moving around. Also gives you the opportunity to know if you need a pedicure or not. I'm good. I don't need one just yet. And I have a feeling I hear a Zeus coming. Yes, here he is. Hi, Zeus. Hi, bud. I'm going to try to keep massaging my foot while he's here. Okay. You're always sitting on the lap. Zeus. All right, well, I'm going to still try to massage my foot while he's here. You goofy pup. Zeus is not that old, by the way, even though he's as big as he is. Oh, okay. Zeus. I think he's just over a year old, so he still has his good old puppy behavior. As long as I keep petting him. Well, what do you see, buddy? No, don't eat my foot. All right, you know what? I'm going to alter this and make this work to my advantage. As he lays here and does his puppy thing, I'm going to take a nice straddle position and I'm going to start to hinge forward. Again, I'm going to keep my spine straight and I'm going to keep petting him. Hopefully he'll stay calm, right? Mr. Excitement. How many of you out there do your animals come and sabotage? Well, I shouldn't say sabotage. They come and join your yoga practice. Yes, and you brought your dirty paws and you got my clean mat all dirty. My yoga towel, which I just took out of the wash. It's all good, things can be washed again. Okay. So I'm gonna gently come up to vertical from here. Let's see if he'll let me move without being too disturbed. It's okay, buddy, we're not gonna go anywhere. So I'm gonna finish up now. I'm gonna take my pillow and sit on it again. Lift myself up a bit. And let's see if we can settle Zeus. Oh, okay, buddy. Okay. Settle down. And just take a few minutes. Excuse me, I still have my morning voice. Oh, Zeus. Just take a few minutes to breathe, prepare myself for the day. Another day of exciting adventures, because we never know what's going to happen. Here, buddy. My hand is not a chew toy. That is though. Yes. Maybe I should rename this Wake and Stretch and Watch Zeus Play. All right, everyone. So Zeus clearly wants to play. Okay. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for showing up. I'll be here again tomorrow. Does anyone have any questions while we're here? Anyone want a shout out? Let's see who's watching. Yeah. All right, well, love a street pooch. I think my street pooch is not outside actually. This is a company here in Sri Lanka that when you buy their products, they give donations to the street dogs to help care for them. And it's called Embark. If you can see that down there. Anyway, yeah. So I guess I'll see you guys in the morning, my morning, tomorrow in 24 hours. So be well. Remember to breathe. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.